I just finished a video by a conference report. The video was primarily concerned with the presuppositionalist argument for the existence of God, the apologetic that's given. But during the course of it, he mentioned Descartes, and that reminded me of a quibble that I've had with Descartes for a long time, particularly his cogito. Now, to provide some background, Descartes was very interested in arriving at certain knowledge. And he decided that the way to arrive at certain knowledge was to engage in what he was kind of called a methodological doubt. That is, he would doubt everything. He doubted that he existed, he doubted the external world existed, you name it, he doubted it. And he said the reason he was justified in doubting it is because he could be deceived in some fashion. Perhaps one of the sources of deception, he said, was that there was a demon, an evil genius, that was deceiving him into believing that he existed, the external world existed, and so on. So he claims that he stayed up one night and engaged in this doubt. But the one thing that he couldn't doubt, he said, was that he was doubting. And since doubting is a form of thinking, he couldn't doubt that he was thinking, and therefore he concluded with certainty, and that because thinking, to think one has to exist, he concluded that with certainty, I think, therefore I am. And that became the foundation. Knowledge of the self became the foundation for all other knowledge claims. Knowledge that the external world exists, and he even went so far as to claim that knowledge of the self is the basis for thinking that, knowing that God exists. Now, I'm not getting into all those things. My complaint with Descartes' Cogito is in the initial steps. I think he actually ends up presupposing more than he's entitled to. He begins by his cogito basically by saying, I know that I am doubting. Well, that's a little bit more than it seems to me he's entitled to assume. What he can assume, it seems to me, is that doubting is occurring. That doubting is occurring at a particular point in time and space. And he's entitled to conclude, and finally conclude, that doubting is a form of thinking, so therefore thinking is occurring at a particular point in time and space. But he's not entitled to conclude that a self must exist in order for this to occur. Only the phenomena is occurring. Now, the advantage of thinking about this in these terms is that we understand the use of the word I to be a kind of shorthand for saying, in a longer version, thinking is occurring at this particular moment, or consciousness is occurring at this particular moment in time and space. Also, we get rid of the sort of mystical notion of a self, and all the problems that are associated with this notion of a self. And also, we get to preserve a sense of uniqueness, and because if thinking or consciousness or doubting is occurring at a particular point in time and space, then it's not it's unique. It's inhabiting that point in time and space. And as far as we know, and most probably nothing else is inhabiting that particular point in time and space as well. So we get rid of the spookiness of the self, but we get to preserve a sense of uniqueness. Thanks. Bye.